On Point with Craig's Investment Partners.
The information provided here is general in nature and it's not financial advice. It doesn't take into account your financial situation, objectives, goals, or risk tolerance. All investments are subject to risk and none are guaranteed. So before you make any decisions, we recommend you contact an investment advisor. For more information about our services or to view the Craig's Investment Partners financial advice provider disclosure statement, please visit our website, which is craigsip.com. Welcome to On Point. I'm Mark Lister, Investment Director at Craig's Investment Partners, and I'll be talking about a range of topics including economics, portfolio strategy, investor education, and anything else that's happening out there in financial markets. Morning team, hope you're all well. A bit of a recap episode today. I wanted to revisit a piece of work that I did right at the start of the year. I got a lot of positive feedback on this and I myself found it really interesting to put together, and some of the outcomes for me were really fascinating. So hopefully you'll agree with that. The premise at the time was to just look at some of the S&P 500 targets that the Wall Street gurus were putting out for the year ahead, for 2025. And back at the start of the year, the majority of strategists were forecasting a gain of 9 to 10% or thereabouts for the US share market. Now, what's interesting about this is that that is very close to the long-term average return from US shares. And somewhat ironically, I argued at the time that that's probably a reason why most strategists will be wide of the mark. Let me tell you why. Since 1900, the year 1900, so more than 125 odd years ago, US shares have returned 9.8% per annum, including dividends, so just shy of 10% per annum over that entire period. And that means that on average, an investor would have doubled their money every 7.4 years. Not quite, because there'll be fees, there'll be taxes, but using round numbers and just using those historic returns, that's what it points to. Not bad at all, is it? That really is a recipe for wealth generation, and it's an excellent way to ensure that your capital grows more than inflation. And if you're wondering, inflation has been just below 3% per annum over that entire period. That's in the US again. However, here's the thing. The market rarely delivers an annual return that's anywhere near that long-term average. Usually, the annual return is way above that or way below it. And thankfully, we get the former much more than the latter. Higher returns much more than terrible returns. So let me dig further into that data and you'll see what I mean. So we know that the average return since 1900 is almost bang on 10%. So you would then think that you can take a couple of percent either side of that, let's say 8 to 12%, and a good proportion of the returns would fall into that zone, right? After all, 10% is the average over more than 100 years. Actually, not so much. Of those 125 years that we've seen, guess how many there were where the calendar year return was between 8% and 12%, around that 10% average. Guess how many? Just 4. Just 4 out of 125, despite the average over the whole period being bang on 10. Just 4 times. I think that's wild. Every other year, the other 121 has been outside of that range, and in many cases, by quite a wide margin. Let's start with the bad news. There were 32 calendar years when the market was down, and there were 7 of those, 7 of the 32, when it was down more than 10%. 8 of the 32, it was down more than 20%. So that's the bad news. The worst 2 years of all were 1931. US shares fell 39.3% that year, and 2008 in the GFC. In 2008, US shares slumped 37% in calendar year 2008. Pleasingly, those down periods are usually fleeting. Since 1900, there have been just 3 occasions where investors had to stomach 2 negative years in a row, and just 2 times where there were 3 consecutive down years. So those were in the Great Depression almost 100 years ago, and after the dot-com bubble burst in the very early 2000s. So very rare for a negative year to be followed by another negative year. Usually if you get a bad year, you get a bounce back afterwards. Not always. It can happen to get those 2 or even 3 in a row, but very, very unusual. Doesn't happen very often. That's the bad news, and it's far from all bad, because remember that most of the time the market has gone up. 93 out of those 125 years have been positive. So that's a very, very reasonable hit rate of 74%. You may as well say 3/4 of the time the market's going up, because it is. There have also been 47 years out of 125, 47 years where US shares rose more than 20% in a calendar year. Now that includes last year, 2024, and the one before that, 2023. So that's more than a third of the time, historically, that the US share market has gone up 20% plus. I find that amazing. And that also includes 16 years where the gains were more than 30%. And then there were 4 years where the market rallied more than 40%. So I guess this is the thing. This is the crux of it. While the average share market return in the US has been about 10% per annum, the gain in any given year is very rarely going to be close to that average. There's huge variance from one year to the next. So when you hear people like myself or other market commentators, strategists, investors, when you hear us talking about the attractive returns that shares will generate over the long term, we're not exaggerating at all. It's just that these returns don't come in a straight line or in a consistent manner. So as a share investor, there is no question that you will do well over the long term. You just need to make peace with the fact that year in, year out, i.e. over the short term, anything can happen. And that variability, those ups and downs on a year-to-year basis, or certainly on a month-to-month, week-to-week, day-to-day basis, that variability is the price that you pay for those above average long-term returns. Remember that the market goes up 3 out of 4 years, and it's 6 times more likely to experience a 20% rise. Remember, that's happened on 47 occasions in all the calendar years since 1900. 6 times more likely to experience a 20% rise than a 20% decline. We've only seen that 8 times in the last 125 years. So that's an amazing statistic. At the start of this year, the typical Wall Street strategist took the safe option and they picked 2025 to be a relatively average year. They'll probably do the same next year and the year after that, because that's how they often work. The thing is, the chances of that happening are extremely thin. So predictions like that will often be incorrect. I think they all know that. They probably, to be honest, resent being asked to come up with something as trivial as a 12-month target. Genuine share investors and people that love markets know that that's a very short time frame, and it's ridiculous to try and predict moves over those short time frames. So forget about those forecasts, but enjoy that history lesson. Best advice I can give you for your investing journey is to stay the course, to understand and accept that the risk-return trade-off is there and that will always exist, and just keep your eye on the long game. If you can do that, history is absolutely on your side and you will succeed as a share investor. Hope that was interesting. Hope you found it useful. Get in touch with us if you want to talk anymore. We'll talk again soon. Thanks, team.
For more insights, visit craigsip.com.